Hi, today we are going to talk about one of the most awaited features in Power Automate called WorkQueues. This WorkQueue concept had been there in other intelligent automation tools like Blue Prism and UiPath, but was missing in Power Automate. Before we begin, I want to give you a quick overview of WorkQueues. So you can consider this work queue as a table which stores your process relevant data. This work queue provides a way to decouple your complex processes or automations. It improves efficiency and scalability. So let's say if you want to process n number of items parallelly, you can load them in a work queue and then process them using multiple machines or bots. You can prioritize your item you want to process first. You can achieve that also. Uh, Last but not the least, it provides you a centralized monitoring mechanism. So you can go to your work queue and check all your work items and check their status, whether they are successfully processed or not. There are some key points that I want to highlight. So as of today, this is a preview feature. When I say preview means you cannot use this feature in your production environment. It requires a premium Power Automate license. For desktop workflows, you don't have any work queue option as such. And if you want to create any Power BI dashboard using these work queue tables, you will not be able to do that for now. For today's purpose, I'm going to create a small, simple use case where you see I have got two flows. One is my loader flow, which will load data to my Power Automate work queue. And then my processor flow will retrieve the data from my work queue and then process it. Here I will create two different triggers. One trigger will be when any user places any file to my OneDrive. The other trigger as soon as any data is loaded in my work queue. So this will trigger my processor flow. So let's start. So before I begin with Power Automate Flow, I just want to show you that I have already created my Excel file and it looks like this. So this has got three columns, ID, numerator, denominator has got couple of rows. So we will try to populate this data into our work queue. Now, first thing that you need to do is to go to make.powerautomate.com. Here you need to go to monitor and you'll find an option called work queues. Click on this and click on new work queue. You'll have to give a name to your queue. You can give any description. And then you need to give this item default time to live. So after this time or these many minutes, your item will be expired and you will not be able to process or retrieve those items. So for now, let's put 30 here and say create. So you see your queue has been created, but it doesn't have any work queue items here. I just quickly show you what happens in the background. So when you create any queue, so let's go to Dataverse, go to data, go to tables. And here you see all your tables are listed. So click on all and then say work queue. So here you see there are two tables, right? So first one is work queue, which basically contains data of your queues. So you see I have created one queue, so that queue is listed here. and description, and then WorkQueue. So this is the unique ID that we will be using to refer this WorkQueue. So you need to note this, or you can find the same ID even here as well. So go back to your queues, and in the address bar, you will find this unique ID. So you can copy it from here as well. The other table that is listed there is a work queue item. So this table contains all your work queue items irrespective of your work queue. So all these items will be stored here, and obviously those can be uniquely identified using your work queue ID. Since we don't have any data here, you don't see any work item. So let's go back to our Power Automate flow. And as I had mentioned that we will be creating one automated flow that will be our loader flow. So I just give a name loader, and I see OneDrive. So when a file is created, so this will be my trigger. Click on create, and I'll have to select my folder that I want my flow to watch. So this is my folder. My folder name is input folder. Then I will define a variable to store my file path. So I'll say file path or file identifier actually. This will be a string type and the value will be file identifier. I will create another variable that will basically hold my table name in that file, in that Excel file. And there my table name is table1. So I put two variables, and now I will read that Excel file. So I need to select list rows present in a table. And here I will simply use my file identifier, and my table name is table name. Once this is done, I will save this. And now I will try to run this flow. So I'll go back to the home page of my flow, and I go to my OneDrive. Here you see I don't have any file. Now let me upload my file here. So let me refresh this. File is not yet here. Yeah, so file is here now. Let's go to our flow. So this could run successfully. Go there. And here, what I want to do, I want to copy this output, because I want to read all these columns. And for that, I will parse this JSON. So just to have this JSON, I just executed my this flow. So let's go back to our flow in edit mode. And here, let's add parse JSON. So now here we can add ID. And we have already added our WorkQueue ID here. And we'll have to give this input as well. So I will be selecting all three of my columns, numerator, and then comma denominator. So when you read this data from your work, you'll have to put your logic to uh, break or to retrieve these values separately. It might be, split based on your commas, etc. The next thing that I want to do is I just want to say status reason to queued. So as soon as my data is added in a queue, you will see this status as queued so that these items can be picked up. So I think we should be good here. Let's save this. So our flow is ready. Let's go back to WorkQueue just one more time. And here you see we have this WorkQueue, but there's no item as such. So now, as you know, our trigger point is we need to put this file there. So let's first delete this file. So you see my file is deleted. Let me upload a new file. Yeah, so I have uploaded this file and let's go back to our flow. So let's refresh it for the next run. So this is running and this is successful now. Yeah, so let's go to our WorkQueue, refresh it, and you see we have two items, right? And these are our values. Thing that we need to do, we need to create our processor flow. So again, this is going to be our automated cloud flow. We name it processor, and the trigger will be when a row is added. So our change type is added. Table name is WorkQueue items here. So when our this flow is triggered, the next thing that we want to do, we want to read our data. So we'll say perform a bound action. Table here would be our WorkQueue's table. action would be DQ. And obviously I'm hard coding this thing here. So if you want to make it dynamic, there are different ways. The next thing that I want to do is I just save this first. So since I again need to pass the JSON, so I just want to run this flow, and I will capture the JSON to generate the schema. But for that, I'll just try to manually insert one item here. So name could be, let's say 3, value could be 3 comma 25 comma 5, and then I say create. Now this should trigger this flow here. So you see, this is successful. Let's go there. Then copy this body. So see, this has retrieved my very first item. So next time when I'll be running, this will pick up the second item. So don't be surprised here. Let's again go in edit mode and say new step, pass JSON. The next thing that I'm going to do is just to read my values to a variable. Obviously, you will, when you do the actual implementation, you will pass these values and uh, use them as per your need. So I say retrieved values, type as a string, and the value will be input. Okay. One more thing that I want to show you is how we can update even the status of these items. Here, what we are going to do, we are going to update the status of our items. So I can go back to WorkQueue, and then we say update a row. And here we say we select our item, WorkQueue items, the row ID as well. So WorkQueue item ID. And here go to advanced, and here we will say in processing result successful. And then we will change our status reason to processed, and status also to be processed. Okay, I just want to run this one more time end to end for you. So let me just clear our work queue. So I go back to our work queue, and we can clear these items by clicking see all, select all these items and say delete WorkQueue items. So now we don't have any item in a WorkQueue. So what we'll be doing, we'll be going back to our OneDrive, and here again we will be placing this file one more time. So you see our file is deleted. Let me put my file here one more time. And just for your clarity, I'm using a different machine to put this file. So see, my file is here, and let's go to our loader. So it's running now, and this is successful. Let's go to our WorkQueue and refresh this. And you see we have two items here. One is queued and one is already processing because my second flow has already been triggered. Let's go to our second flow, and I think this is already done. So yeah, so let's go back to our queue and refresh this and see both the items are processed. And yeah, and our processing node also you can see is successful. Hope this helps.